This is the Giant Sedona DX 2019. I just picked this up today. Been wanting to get a new bike for a while and had a hard time finding a bike that fit what I wanted a bike to do. I didn't need a mountain bike and I don't jump anymore, but I wanted something that looked good, and there were certain items that I wanted the bike to have. And I looked at Trek, I looked at Cannondale, I looked at Scott, I looked at Specialized, and this was the only bike that checked off all the boxes. And I've been riding it today, picked it up this morning, and I'm very pleased with the purchase. And I'm not an expert on all the derailleurs and how top of the line is the equipment. I don't ride a bike that hard. I basically am just using this to enjoy riding a bike. I've always liked riding a bike. I don't, like I said, jump, but I do sometimes ride fast down paths in parks or whatever, dirt trails, so I wanted something that could do that. And for that reason, I started with the tires. And I wanted a 26-inch tire. Now, this is my old bike that I've had for probably close to 20 years. And that fit the bill for what I've wanted for the last 20 years. It was getting a little long in the tooth, and it was time to get something different. So this has served me well. I don't know if the Wildwood Deluxe, if Diamondback makes them to the same standards they did 20 years ago, but I never had any issues with this bike. I had it adjusted once last summer before I took it down to the shore, just because the derailleur cables had stretched out a little bit and it wouldn't hit all the way up on the gears. But other than that, it's been a good bike. I knew that I wanted the trigger shifters, and those twist shifts are a little sketchy. Sometimes you have to twist twice to get it to shift once. I wanted something that was a little more exact. Not only are these more exact, but they've even got the numbers on them for the gears you're in, which is pretty cool. So that was the first box. Like I said, 26-inch tires for me were the must. I've ridden the 27.5s, I've ridden the 700Cs, and I've ridden the 29ers. And after spending all these years on a 26, I noticed the difference in the bigger tire when I get on it, as in how quickly it steers. To me, they feel more cumbersome. So I wanted to stick with the 26 for that reason. And the tire sizes, the tire choices in this size, there's just probably hundreds of tires. If you look on a website like Bicycle Warehouse, there's probably 10 pages of tires just in the 26-inch size. I'm not sure if that's true for the 700s and the 27s and the 29s. It probably is, but I liked the fatter tire. They give a much softer ride. When I'm on a 700C tire, I feel like every pebble in the road gets transmitted up to my arms and wrists and everything. I don't notice that on the 26-inch tires. So right off the bat, this was almost the only bike that I could find that had the 26-inch tires still. I'm not looking to go super fast or make time or, go long distances. So there it was, 26. This was the bike I found. The next thing I wanted was the disc brakes. I've never had them, but I know they're way better than the cantilevers. And the problem with the cantilevers is if the rim gets a little bent, because I'm doing sometimes stupid stuff, they start rubbing. And they're a pain in the butt to adjust and get centered. And it's just, this is so much simpler. Even if you do torque the rim a little bit, it's not going to affect your brake. And the adjustability is so much better. There's this knob on the inside for the inner pad that you can run in and out. When I first got the bike, the shop had set it up probably perfect, but when I took the front wheel off, put it in the car and brought it home, the disc was rubbing. And I tried to let out the cable a little bit, figuring it could give it more play, but that's only, I see, given to play, and I think it was the outer pad. So once I saw this inner pad where you just stick an Allen wrench in and you move it, it's labeled right on there, in and out. You can move that pad in and out so that it doesn't rub at all. So now she runs free, it doesn't rub. It's perfect. I also wanted quick release wheels, because if you got to change a flat, who's going to carry a wrench? Most of the bikes are quick release, so that was like not a big issue. Probably the only ones that are going to have nuts and bolts on them anymore are axles that need a wrench, is like the really, really cheap ones. This bike was $550 with taxes and everything, and I had to buy a kickstand that was 20 bucks. It was just a little bit over $6 when I got it out the door. Okay, so moving on. I wanted a suspension seat post, and I've had one on my other bike and it always worked well. It's not something that's gonna make a world of difference, but it helps. This one, I guess they pretty much all are. It has a bolt in the bottom, an Allen screw, and you can turn that in or out to adjust how stiff or how soft you want that spring. When I first started riding it, it didn't hardly move at all, and it really has to have a lot of weight, and I've got it pretty much as soft as you can dial it out. I believe there's probably some stiction going on because you're clamping it, plus it's trying to ride inside as a clamp, so there's a little bit of engineering you know, that it's trying to overcome here. It's never going to be probably perfect. I've looked at the Cane Creek Thud Busters, and I might put one on the bike. It depends how sore my butt gets. Another thing I noticed they did that I really liked was there's grip tape on these pedals. This is awesome. I don't like spiked pedals because sometimes I do ride in bare feet. If I'm down at the shore and I just want to go around the corner and get a donut or something, I don't like the metal spikes. I don't know how many pedals still come like this, but this looks like it's going to work really good to have this grip on there for you know, not slipping off. The fork had to have a suspension fork. Now, granted, this is not, you know, something that's supposed to go airborne. This is more just for comfort. The fork on the Diamondback was just an elastomer bumper, which hardly did anything. It's probably as cheap as you can go, but it still helped a little bit. This one's way, way better than that. It has adjustability where you can turn these and make it softer or stiffer. And it's got a lot more travel than that one did. So this is going to be awesome compared to what I got off of. Let's see, what else? Handlebars. I wanted an upright position. I don't like bending over. I don't like putting a whole bunch of strain on my wrist. And, you know, these stems allow you to adjust the handlebars. You can loosen this and move it up, move it back toward you a little bit. You can spin the bars in the mount. So there's quite a bit of adjustability there to fit your size. This is the large frame. I'm 6 foot. Fits me perfect. When I bought the Wildwood, I got the extra large, thinking that I could raise the seat up and almost have my legs straight when I was pedaling. It's always been a little bit too big for me. I lived with it. It's not noticeable, but like my wife can't even get on the thing because the crossbar is so high. So glad that I finally got a bike that fits me. When I saw this bike, it comes in 2 colors this year. It comes in this blue, and it also comes in an orange. And I was really torn. I didn't know which one I liked better. In fact, I told the guy, because he had to order it, I said, I don't care which one you get. If you can only get one over the other, it doesn't matter to me. I'll take either one. He says, I can get you the blue. He got me the blue. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that's a beautiful bike. Everybody who's seen it so far has been like, wow, that's a really sharp looking bike. I like the details they did on the rims with the color. I think that's awesome. These are some really funky rims, how they cone in. You know, they're not flat like the old rims on top here. They kind of come up to a point. So I'm not sure how that's going to affect me changing tires when I get a flat, if it's going to make it harder or not an issue at all. I don't know that yet. The other thing that I wanted to get, that I tried a lot of bikes and they didn't have it, was I wanted, I guess they call it a mega range, but I wanted a very low first gear. I like to be able to get on a bike, and if I pedal hard, it'll automatically lift the front tire up. That's how low I like first gear. About the only thing I do on bicycles anymore is wheelies. And not that I use that first gear for wheelies, but if you ride in grass or on the beach or up a hill, that first gear being that low is the difference between you getting off and pushing the bike or just actually pedaling it up the hill. So that was a necessity. Like I said, I've only had it for a day, so I don't have a lot of seat time in it. I'm hoping that this seat is comfortable. I asked the salesman, it does adjust up and back, and I mean, my God, look how long this seat post is. It's unbelievable. I mean, I know you're not supposed to run them too high. There's a certain mark on there where you're not supposed to go past, but yeah, I'm hoping that seat is comfortable. I always have a way, like a mindset of what I'm doing with my bikes and how I like to outfit them, and I did that on the Diamondback. And I don't like a lot of crap, but I always like to have a rack. You go down the shore, you want to go to the donut shop, get some cinnamon buns or something, you got to have somewhere to put them. I also always like to have the capability to change a flat tire. If I go riding 10 miles away from my house and I pick up a flat, I don't want to have to call somebody or have to wait or be stuck just because I don't have a pump and a tube. So that's what I always keep back in here. And my lock. So that's how I always outfit all my bikes. It kind of makes me more, I don't know what you call it, self-sufficient when I have to depend on somebody else. These tires were a piece of cake to change. You didn't need any tools. You could do them by hand. And it took you a while to pump it up with that little tiny pump, but you know, in 10 minutes I could be back pedaling again, even if, you know, I had a flat. So this one has an old school computer on it. I'm looking to get another computer. I don't know if I'm going to go wireless or not. Wanted to put some lights on it. We ride down the shore at night sometimes, so. But so far, I think I picked the right bike. I haven't come across anything yet that I said, you know, this was better on another model, or I wish it had this. And this had basically everything that I was looking for to do what I want to do on a bicycle. And like I said, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm not ripping down downhill trails and catching air. Could you get it? You can jump off curbs with this, no problem. Would you want to do drops on it? I don't think so. You know, it's not really made for that. So for what I'm planning on using it for, I don't know how Giant isn't selling a ton of these, especially to, you know, the older crowd, because what a fantastic looking bike. And I mean, with everything they've put on it, that, like I said, I couldn't find on the competition. I don't know, maybe the new style is people want the bigger tires and the skinnier tires and whatnot. But for me, this hits all the numbers, checks all the boxes. So I hope, you know, I may be doing some reviews later on as I hook it up and get some miles on it to see how it holds up, if anything breaks or if I have any issues with anything. And I'll definitely let you know. But if you have any questions about it or something I didn't cover, you know, drop me a message and I'll definitely answer you.